Welcome to podcast 49 of the Pickleball Crew. This week, we're going to talk about some drills and making them a little bit fun and a little bit competitive.
My big thing is with people that want to play games all the time. These drills and these games they are games to sort of replace drills, but they give you the chance to focus on something, an area of your game. For those people who don't have a lot of time to drill every week, or maybe they're out there with rec play in the evenings and there's really not a lot of opportunity to just drill. These games are all terrific ideas for you to incorporate into your rec play that makes your games more drill-like, and it gives you the chance to work and focus on something, some part of your game that you're looking to improve. I have discovered that people are open and willing to do that. It's just a matter of somebody saying, hey, tonight I want to work on this part of my game. Can we do this game? And people are generally pretty willing to do it, at least for one game, and like I say, it just gives you the opportunity to work on one part of your game and not miss out if you can't do drills. So I like to start out with the third shot, right? We know what an important part of the game it is, and in getting yourself up to the net and not losing an opportunity to take over the advantage that the other side has. So what you're going to do is you play the third shot drop game, and that is that you're not going to gain a point unless you have a successful third shot drop. You're still going to play out all of your points, but if it's not successful, then you don't get the point. We play this in our drill group a good bit, and it forces you to think about it. And there's so many times in rec play that you just don't even focus on that. And there are a lot of people that are out there just playing and don't really, pay much attention to whether or not they had a successful third shot drop. So this is a way for you to make that happen.
I think too, Vicki, one of the things we've done also with that same drill is you don't have to do it on the third shot. You could do it on the fifth or the seventh. We played it so the requirement is you don't get a point unless you're the returning team and you drop it into the no volley zone. That's the only way you score a point. And you got to win the point too.
And win the point. That's right.
The good thing about this drill, it's not just third shot drop, but it also incorporates a reset in getting you and your team to the line. With maybe a couple of balls that are hit down towards your knees, instead of swinging at them, just trying to reset because you're back in transition zone, trying to get on up to the line. So it really makes you focus on using a couple different ways to try to get you and your partner to the line where you can play that 50-50 pickleball that we talk about all the time.
And it really helps the other side too, because you learn, you've got an opportunity there to return shots deep into the backcourt, keep that returning team in the back. So it benefits all players everywhere. But you're right, having to focus on putting that drop into the no volley zone is the key to the drill.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's a great point, but is that it keeps everybody focused and everybody on their toes and knowing what is the reason why you do this to start out with. And so for the, people your opponents on the other side, they're learning too. There's no doubt about it.
It's a great drill. It's one of my favorites.
It is. And being game-like, people are still competitive. You're still playing points out. It is a great way to focus on something and still have it be very competitive. And there's variations on it too. You can also do a third shot drive and a fifth shot drop. There's a lot of different ways of taking this game and stretching it out and bringing it to new levels. And that can be a lot of fun too. The only way I'm going to get a point is if we do third shot drive and a fifth shot drop. And I think it's a fun, not only just a fun drill, but again, very, very competitive and very challenging. So what we'll do is we'll go on another one. Another one that we play a lot in our drills is that you have to have 6 hits before you can score. And most of the time I get a lot of on this one. But what it does is it makes you focus on slowing the ball down and getting into a dink battle, maintaining the dink battle. So it's actually making you put together points, structure your points. Don't just try to kill the ball in the first hit, the second hit, third hit. You have to hit it 6 times. There has to be 6 hits before someone can actually score a point.
This is a good one. It's something Jeff always tells you: stay in the point, stay in the point. And this is a drill that makes you do that.
Yeah, and I think it kind of trains you to play longer points and be more patient. Of course, it's not exactly it's game like. It's not exactly game like if somebody pops one up within the first 3 shots, but still it makes you go towards crafting a point and getting used to do that. Of course, you're forcing it on them, but that's part of the point, is to force it on them and make them play. A lot of times at 3-5 play and below, and some quite honestly, a good bit at 4-0, the very first ball that barely gets up just a little bit, people are attacking that ball. And it's okay if that ball goes in, but a lot of times that attacked ball goes into the net or goes out the back end or wide. So if you can stay off of some of those balls down the road, you'll get something up a little higher. You want to see, we always say, you want to see the points finishing with somebody forcing an error on people, a finishing shot, something like that, instead of most of the points finishing in somebody hitting into the net or hitting it wide or hitting it long. As you start seeing that transition occur, you know that the people you're working with are transitioning to a little bit higher level of pickleball.
Yeah, I think it, and again, your dink battles, if you're drilling and dinking a lot, which is what we do, we want those things to transfer into our games. And so an exercise like this, again, forces you to try to stay in that moment and keep going. You've been practicing it, you know how to do it. Let's transfer it to our games.
It also, teaches you discipline. It's like Jeff just said, it makes you, I know it's helped me. I'm not as hesitant to continue a dink battle as I used to be. I'm more willing nowadays to stay in it as long as that other person, feeds me one back. I'll feed it right back to them again until somebody elevates it. And I don't try to get fancy. I just try to, keep it at their feet, close to the line, and keep it low.
Right. This is probably Julie Brown's favorite, and took us all, I think, a good little minute to get used to it, but it's a perfect little exercise as well. And that is protect the middle. And there's,
Oh, yeah.
again, several different ways that you can play this as far as the points are concerned, because you can actually deduct points, you can add points, wipe out points. We've played it a couple of different ways, I think, but the whole goal is, and again, both sides are going to learn from doing this exercise. And that is that, one side is going to be looking and focusing on trying to place the ball down the middle. Again, constructing points so that maybe I'm able to pull, one partner out or something and create a gap in the middle, shooting for the middle. And it's their job then to learn how to work as a team and protect the middle. So, when somebody actually does protect the middle, I think in the past we've done it where it wipes out any points that you might have. This process might work in reverse. You get points when somebody places the ball down the middle on you, and you don't want points in this game. So again, there's different ways that you can do it with gaining points and losing points. But for the most part, the exercise is really, really good at teaching you to always focus on the middle of the court.
I think partner movement, as a team is probably one of the aspects of pickleball that's least focused on. And I think this drill really allows people to learn, how to work with each other, whether it's a regular partner or not, and move to fill in that middle and to learn whose responsibility is depending on where the ball is located on the other side of the net. And so this is a very important drill, and can really help kind of learning where you should be depending on where that ball is across the net.
Yeah, you stole my thunder, Ken, but it's something that we really need to discuss. People have a tendency, once they get to the non-volley zone line, they just hold. And I'm not talking about higher level players, but I'm talking 3-5 and below, and some 4-0s. They just hold right in the middle of the non-volley zone line, no matter where the ball goes. So with this drill, as the ball moves from right to left, a different person is in charge of taking care of that middle area. And this particular drill game makes you focus on that concept you can get beat other places, but don't get beat down the middle. And I like Vic, when we're doing it, I like reminding people, like me and you stand on the side, or even if I'm playing with somebody, we were doing it several times, and the ball would go to my right side, and say I got Bud on my left, I would tell Bud, hey, you got middle, just giving him a reminder just to step down toward that tee, and you got to keep moving. The ball may go to the other side, then that person's got to get line, and the offside person's got to get middle. And Ken, it is a forgotten aspect of pickleball. If people would hone in on it and focus in on it, they'd really see their game go up a notch or two.
I think the most valuable aspect of this game is just what you two guys just said, is teaching you to move and keep moving. You can't be static on a court. You've got to move and protect the middle, and you can't do it if you're standing flat foot in the middle of your court. You can't do it.
The movement between the two people is just so important, and who's going to get what. I mean, think of how many times that ends up being an issue in a match. So this is a great exercise to make that, try to hone in on that.
And sometimes when the ball is to one side or the other, the side that ball is on, that player sometimes forgets that sideline is their number one responsibility, because their partner can't help them there. And so they've got to kind of tighten up on the tee and help guard the middle. And when the ball goes back into the center, then you both can kind of squeeze the tee to force them to go out wide. But it's that movement, it's that kind of that dance that you've got to continue to go depending on where the ball is on the other side of the net.
Well, I think that in every point, there's always a hole in your position. And what you've got to do is you've got to make that hole up hard enough for the other team to hit to as you can. In other words, you got to make them make the better shot, going to that hole, than the simple shot of either going down the middle or, wherever it is. You just got to make them make the tough shot.
Yeah, Bud, what you're talking about is we've talked about this before on the show. There's usually 3 places somebody can go with the ball. You want to guard the 2 highest percentage places and make them hit a really good shot in the hardest place, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, crew, this is a good place to take a break. This is some good discussion. So we're going to take a little bit of a break here, but when we come back, we've got a lot more to talk about on these drills that are competitive and fun. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Pickleball Crew. We are a group of pickleball fanatics based in Southeast Louisiana and are passionate about all things pickleball everywhere. Our focus is to inform,
acknowledge those who help build the game regionally, and promote tournaments in our area. We do our best to present this with a love of the sport, a sense of humor, and a lot of fun. So join Vicki Wynn, Ken Wynn, Jeff Fuchsia, and me, Bud Klein, in our latest episode. We are glad you are along for the ride.
Alrighty, gang. We've got another one that actually we love to play, but there's 3 different versions of this game that I absolutely love, and it's a 7-11 game. And you can actually do the 7-11 game with all 4 people at the baseline. Pretty much what it is you have to pick, in that situation, you have to pick a side that actually has to get to 7 points, whereas the other team gets to 11 points. And then you want to reverse those roles. With all 4 teams, this was something that Bernard Leblanc went over with us with all 4 people at the baseline. When he heard that we were doing this game, he said, challenge yourself there because you won't believe how hard it is to get to the front. We know how hard it is when you get stuck in the transition zone, when you're stuck on the baseline, and you're trying desperately to get yourself to the no volley line. If you have an opponent that's just real dominant at the net, we all know how hard that can be. So this 7-11 game is all designed to help you learn and do a better job of getting yourself up, you and your partner, up there to that no volley line. So another version of that game is also that you do it with 2 at the transition zone, and 2 people at the transition zone on one side and 2 people at the no volley line on the other side. And you can also do it with 2 at the no volley line and 2 at the baseline. So again, this is a game that's just, I think it's a great game, and everybody seems to really like it. We start out before playing regular games. We'll do it this way because it really does warm everybody up to go play their regular games, working and knowing that they have to transition and get up to that no volley line. This is one of my favorites, and I think it was an eye-opener for all of us when we first started to do it, especially from the transition zone, just how hard it is when you've got 2 people already at the no volley line that have the upper hand in the match, and you've got to work your way and get in there. So,
well, I particularly like the one where one team is at the no volley zone, the other team is at the baseline, and the team at the no volley zone gives the baseline team a return of serve, and then the baseline team has to start working their way up. The team at the no volley zone has to score 11 points to win. The team at the baseline only has to score 7 to win. I think that's the most fun to me, and I get the most out of it.
It's a couple of things here for me with this drill. Most of the time, the team at the baseline, if they cannot work their way to the net a high percentage of the time, they're going to lose this particular game drill. The other thing is that I like about it, the team that is at the non-volley zone line, when I'm doing this drill, and I try to, when I'm coaching people, I try to tell them, when you're in that position where you're at the non-volley zone line and your partner is up beside you and you're both there and you're set and you have the other team back, this is one of those times in pickleball where you just relax and don't overhit. Just keep putting the ball back at them and make them earn their way to the net. The second part of that is, as they finally, if that other team gets that good drop shot or good reset where you're having to reach down, realize that they're coming and then go soft with it in front of them. Don't feed them another volley like you've been doing, because now they're up closer. You feed them that volley as they're coming, and you're going to pay the price for that most of the time. So it's real helpful for people, on both sides, not just the people trying to fight to get there with a drop shot.
I think the people at the no volley zone, I think this is a great drill in rec play a lot of people want to overswing, overhit, just like Jeff said. This really teaches you to hit not a soft shot, but hit a medium pace shot, even with a little of a top spin roll, more of a punch, and keep them back. A lot of times, either people are going to overswing and not be ready for the next shot, or they're going to hit the ball a little short and inadvertently invite the team that's in the baseline to move more into the transition area and start to give up some real estate. So I think it's a great drill.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals that go along with this, and learning how to move, how to make that, how to split step when you need to make that split step, and then also how to be patient with yourself getting up there. Don't rush it. It can actually help people who are having issues with running through the ball. When it gets sent to you, a lot of people want to hit and run, and then they end up getting stuck and getting slammed, like you guys are saying. So there's a lot of little fundamentals that I think are really, just definitely honed in on with this exercise. It's a great way to do that and learn right away from your mistakes, because this is not easy. It's not an easy drill. I think when we first started doing it, it was an eye opener for everybody. And I'm happy to see a lot of improvement in this area in particular, because we were getting stuck in the transition zone pretty heavily. And then people were also running through it. People were also hitting very hard from the transition zone. There's a lot of mental things that can go on, in those areas. And most of the time it's because you're rushing. And so I think this exercise can really help you doing it over time, to really relax, like you were saying, Jeff, too.
Vicki, you just brought up a really good point, and something that I've done with this drill, and I did it because of something Jeff told me. And this is a good drill to practice stopping when the other team is getting ready to hit the ball, stopping and be ready to hit the shot and not be moving forward in the middle of the shot. And that's something that you can really work on with this type of drill. I've done it, and I've concentrated on nothing but making sure that I'm stopping, while I'm coming forward, and I'm making the shot before I proceed any further. And I've tried to concentrate on doing that when I see the other team is getting ready to hit the ball, and not when they hit the ball. So this is a good drill to learn to do that.
Okay. And one of our absolute favorites that we do after doing our dink drills, and it is, you keep score, make it very competitive, and we just call it 2-on-2 at the no volley line. We just play out points at the no volley line with all 4 players at the no volley line. You do 2 courtesy dinks, and then it's on. Very interesting to see if people maintain a dink battle. Do they get too excited? Do they then hit the ball hard into the net on a low shot? Again, there's a lot of learning that takes place by making mistakes and then learning from those mistakes. This is everybody's favorite. They love doing this. When I let them know it's time for 2-on-2 at the no volley line, they love it. But I think there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of learning, and it's very competitive. So people really get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I don't know about everybody else, but I like to get in a dink battle, and this is exactly the drill that lets you do just exactly that. It puts a premium on, again, staying in the point and just waiting for that right opportunity to hit a winning shot and cut down on your unforced errors.
Well, it's the essence of the craft your point drill.
It is.
And again, you want these, when people are doing these things, you want to really focus on, again, making sure that the points end with somebody hitting an outright winner, not hitting one into the net or speeding it up too soon and the ball going out the back line. Just try to force yourself to stay in that until you get the one that is a really good put away. wherever it comes. If it's 10 shots down the road, take it. If it's 20 shots down the road, then take it. But wait on that and be patient. That's why I love this particular drill. It helps me with my patience.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite. Without a doubt, it's my favorite drill.
Better than Protect the Castle?
Well,
Well, I tell you,
Okay.
all these drills that we've talked about so far, and it really translates to play, is there's two words that have jumped out that we've repeated, and it's patience and placement. And if you look at who
Yep.
some of the better players are, I mean, that's what their game is about, is patience and placement and waiting for the right opportunity. Don't force the opportunity, wait for the right opportunity. And that's what these drills are designed to do, is to kind of slowly ingrain some of that into you that can translate into a real game experience.
That's right. They transfer much better to the real game. And that's where I think people have made a tremendous amount of improvement because of these things. So you work on your fundamentals, you work on patience, and there's just so much learned. And then as it becomes so comfortable, you're right, it translates much better into a rec game or even into tournament play. All righty. And for those of you that don't know what Protect the Castle is, it does require targets, little cones that you sit balls on. And those are about paddle distance in front of you. And I generally put 3 in front of each player. And you have a dink battle. There's cones on both sides of the net in front of each person. And you have a dink battle where both sides are targeting the ball that sits on top of the little cone. And you are also, so you're targeting your opponent's ball, little castle, but you are also responsible for protecting your castle so that they can't knock the ball off of your cone. And so this drill, what it teaches you is how to stay low, stay with the ball, but biggest thing is when to let it bounce, when to take it out of the air, how to remain focused on watching that ball, and then also being honed in on a target yourself and being able to place the ball where you want to. It's not just guesswork or, oh, let me hit it here. It teaches you to focus on placing the ball where you want it to go. And that I know is Bud's favorite.
It is. I mean, I love that drill. It's just a lot of fun. It's, again, it just teaches you to focus and put the ball where it needs to go. And like I said, it's just fun. I just enjoy doing it.
Protecting the Castle is a little tough for rec players to put that into motion on a regular basis out at the park. But these other games, all the other games that we've discussed, can be played at rec play without any problem.
Yeah, and you don't need any props. I mean,
No problems.
all you need is players.
That's correct. That are willing to do it. And to me, I think that's the most important thing, is that you discuss it with everybody who's out there. And all it takes is one person to start it. I think the other players would be very interested in doing it and enjoy learning from it, just as though you were at a drill session.
I wanted to make the point, everything that we've talked about, all these different drills have been, they're concept oriented on how the game should be played. And I don't want people to get this confused with direct drilling. Direct drilling is, hey, I'm having trouble with my backhand dink. Hit me 100 of those and make me take that dink out of the air. That it's two different things going on here. So to be that well-rounded player, I think you really need both. But mainly what we're talking about today is drill play type games that help you with the concepts of pickleball. I just wanted to make that point. That's kind of what we're getting at. We've talked and we will in the future about certain drills that help you work on specific things. It's about getting the concepts down, getting your body in the right spot, and hitting the right shot when you get there.
I know for our group, you know, we do regular drills for about an hour, hour and a half, and then Vicki has us transition
Right.
into the competitive drills to transition into regular play.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a perfect segue. And you know, a couple of not a couple, but a number of people in our group, they get kind of tired of drilling, and they like this competitive drilling, and it transitions into the play. So to me, the perfect evolution with the drill group is to start off with basic drills, then move to the competitive drills, you know, to warm it up a little bit, and then move into regular play.
Well, you can work on the stuff and the concepts that you gathered from the drill session that day and try to incorporate it into the game.
Absolutely, Jeff. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. And the comment is usually, "Oh, this is more game-like. This is more game-like."
Yeah.
And that's important. I mean, you know, and it's true. It then becomes more real of how it works and how it does translate. I think you need it all too, Jeff. I totally agree with that. I think until you master, you know, some of those shots, it's really hard to then say, I'm going to go into competitive play and have, you know, success without having the basics. So I think it's important to have it all.
They go hand in hand. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think at times you can even extend some of these concepts into rec play. I think sometimes people a little more focused on winning a rec play game. There's times that in rec play, you know, that I've really wanted to work on a particular third shot drive, fifth shot drop, or just a third shot drop. And it wasn't so important whether I won or lost the game. It's just that I was focusing on a few shots. And so there's times that you can even extend it to rec play. Even, you know, working with a partner and saying, hey, let's focus on these few things that we've practiced in drills. So sometimes you can take those concepts right into rec play and have that be your focus and not the wins and the losses.
Good point, Ken.
Very good point. And even if they don't want to participate, you can focus on that area that you need to.
Take a time out for a coach's minute.
Hey gang, welcome back to the Coach's Minute. And we are the Pickleball crew. And we are today going to talk to you a little bit about volleying, fast hands, control hands, but really on a little bit more of an advanced level. And I'm going to throw it over to Jeff to show us a thing or two.
Okay, so we're going to talk about real quick two things here. The first thing is me and Vicki are going to start with control hands, and then as we get it going, we're going to get a little more competitive with it. Okay, so let's try that first.
Okay.
All right, so we want to get the ball going, and then after me and her get into some sort of rhythm, then we can start going a little bit quicker. Good shots. Again, get a little rhythm. We're short and compact. We're not taking big swings here. Just controlling the pickleball. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can do. Make it a little more competitive if you got a few balls around. If the balls are going nuts and they're going all different directions, then tone it down a little bit and control the ball. All right, the next thing that we're gonna do, and Vicki does this with us in drills, is we're gonna move along the line here while we're trying to volley. Because in the games, volleys are coming at all different ways, and you gotta be able to move and get it from a different perspective. So we're just gonna work here. Good get, Vicki. Hit a couple here, and then we're gonna work our way back. All right, let's go one more time, Vic.
Okay.
All right, just across the line.
Oh.
All good, all good. If it bounces, we're still controlling it. Good job. Good job. All right, there we go.
There we go. Good job.
Okay, so moving around like that on your volleys and make it a little more competitive as you get up in the advanced levels. You know, I have a couple balls and get after it. Just make sure that you don't overrun your skill level. You want to control the ball here.
No doubt.
And it's going to help you in all phases all over the court.
Well, it helps. It's here's your hand-eye coordination coming in. But the other thing is it's making you focus on that ball. Slowing yourself down, focus on that ball. You have no option as you're moving but to continue to watch that ball. And that's a good exercise. Your opponent's not going to always hit it to you.
No
They're going
doubt.
to hit it all around you. So this is a great way to be prepared for that.
All right, good stuff. That's this segment on Coach's Minute, Advanced Volleys. Back to you,
Back
Bud.
to you, Bud.
All right, that was a great Coach's Minute. And now, as always, it's time for Jeff and his Burr Under My Saddle.
You're burr under my saddle. You're a thorn sticking in my side.
Went and played this past week. I had a day off, and I was able to go down to Jason Turner's court down in Houma, and he had 4 or 5 people come over, and it was Tony and his brother-in-law and a younger guy named Logan, and it came up, and I've been talking to people about this, and I don't know that people realize how important this skill is, and that is getting to the line on your return of serve. To me, it is pickleball 101. It's as plain, outright, and simple as hit a deep serve, hit a deep return. You have to get to the line. Now, do we not get there some? Yes, we don't get there a lot, but you have to focus on getting there. The more times you can get there, the better chance you're going to have of winning that point. If you watch pro pickleball or higher level pickleball, they get there probably 97% of the time. And the only time that any of those people have trouble is usually when they're trying to unwind the stack. So I had some funny conversations with Tony and Keith about that, and I told them as we were going back and forth on, I said, somebody show me a YouTube video where it says return your serve and then hang up in the transition zone and get yourself ready to attack. You can search high and low, but you are not going to find that. And I think what happens with people, they don't realize when you don't get to that line, and let's say you hit that transition shot, a lot of times when you're hitting that transition shot, it's flipping because you didn't get to the line, it's flipping the percentage into the serving team's corner, and you may not lose it right there, but because of your poor positioning, not getting to the non-volley zone line, down the road 5 or 6 shots later, you lose that dominant position of getting there. So it's just it's funny. I've talked with several people over the last few months, and you get some people that they just think I'm fine with doing this. And I'm just gonna revert back and say I always want to try for us to emulate the pros and do what they do. So kind of getting long-winded here. I'm getting a 30-minute burr under my saddle like Howard Ward had that day. But people, get to the non-volley zone line when you return your serve. Hit a shallower, if you got it not shallow, but hit a lofty return to give yourself time. Also get back. This is the one time, Vic, we talk about running through our shots. This is the one time, in my opinion, as a coach, where you can run through one of your shots. Get back, further back than you would normally, and hit that return, and your momentum's headed toward that line. And get there. Whatever you have to do, people, get there. That's this week's Burr Under My Saddle.
All right, Jeff, thanks for that Burr Under My Saddle. And I got to tell you, a Burr Under My Saddle is when my partner hits a nice deep return of serve, and I turn around and they're still standing at the baseline.
Not there.
So I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now,
Hey, Bud, I've got a shout out. Okay, my shout out today is going to be for Bernard Leblanc, who was drafted in the National Pickleball League to the Indy Drivers, and he is about to embark on his first professional experience on a pickleball team. And we couldn't be more excited for you, Bernard, and we're wishing you well. Hope you have a wonderful season, and we're looking forward to watching you. And you just make sure to show them how we play pickleball in Louisiana. All righty. Good luck, Bernard.
All right, Vicki, thanks for that shout out. And now it's time for Ken and his tournament previews.
Hot off the press, it's time for Ken's tournament previews.
Okay, thanks, Bud. Looking at tournament previews, let's talk about May. May 11th, the Heart and Soul Pickleball Tournament will be in Mandeville at Pelican Park. Probably when this comes out, registration will be closed. But we're excited to say that we've had over 120 people registered, and we're looking forward to playing with the Selkirk Pro S1 Pickleball. The following weekend, May 18th, 19th, is the State Games of Mississippi at Halls Ferry Park in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. The same weekend, May 17th through 19th of 2024, is the Pickle in the Dell at Crossgates Fitness Center in Slidell, Louisiana. Again, go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. That's a tournament that's been popular for a long time here in South Louisiana. The following weekend, May 24th, 25th, is a pickleball tournament in DeRidder, Louisiana. We're going to put up that there's a phone number for you to text the word pickle to. It's 337-227-6144. The same weekend, May 27th through the May 24th through 27th, is the Stacks Pickleball Fest, the first annual at Stacks Pickleball in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is a 4-day tournament with standard brackets, senior brackets, MLP brackets, and even a junior event. We'll put the long URL at the bottom. It's basically going to be on globalpickleball.network, but we'll have that URL listed below. Registration for this closes May 10th. Looking at the end of May, early June, is the first annual Graywood Golf and Racket Club Pickleball Tournament in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. There's over 70 people registered, and registration closes May 22nd. June 1st, the Port City Pickleball Tournament in Divine Park in Chickasaw, Alabama. We'll put the URL at the bottom of the screen. It's www.port-city-pickleball.com. It's $30 for one division, $45 for two divisions, or scan the QR code to register. June 20th through 23rd, 2024 is the Paddles at the Plex in Opelika, Alabama. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. There's over 230 people already registered. This is a great facility. It's 24 covered courts in Opelika, Alabama. Not only is it a fun town, but that is a place that if you've never played, it's worth the trip. August 8th through 11th is the second annual NOLA Pickle Fest at the Moriel Convention Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. There's over 270 people registered. Going to September 6th through 8th is the Louisiana State Championship at the New Orleans Hilton at New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register for the Louisiana State Championship. October 4th through 6th is the Louisiana Senior Games. This has been advertised to be at the Legacy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've got wind that it may be changing location. I don't have a URL yet. As soon as we find some more information, we'll pass it along. Finally, October 25th through 27th, the Hollow Wheel Tournament. Not only did it open, it's over 300 people have registered, and some brackets are already full. We're going to put the URL at the bottom of the screen. If you've been one of the lucky ones to register, good for you. And if not, there's a waiting list. So jump on it. And again, we'll put the URL at the bottom of the screen for you to register. And that's it for Pickleball Preview. Back to you, Bud.
All right, Ken, thanks for those tournament previews. And now, if nobody has anything else, it's time to say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
See you on the courts.
Hey, from the Pickleball crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave any comments and please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again and see you next week.